you've come up with this event with the government of India that you're organizing on 4 to 6 December called Global Bio India 2023.
It's the largest biotech startup congregation in the country. We would be passing the 100 billion milestone. And we are looking forward that by 2030, we should be able to touch 300 billion USD. Typically, the biotech startups and the biotech community is technically, fundamentally very strong, like more good in reading papers, writing papers, but the business aspect is kind of relatively less.
Hi, Dr. Manish. Thank you for joining this conversation. It is a pleasure having you here. Before we talk about anything, let me really say this. COVID-19 was definitely a very daunting pandemic on all of us. But, biotechnology was really at the forefront of all the efforts that went behind fighting this pandemic. And you guys did a really great job. So let me congratulate you guys on that, being an integral part of that ecosystem. But moving forward, you're and which is why you've seen that potential in that biotech industry, bioeconomy, and you've come up with this event with the government of India that you're organizing on 4 to 6 December called Global Bio India 2023. And you already sold out all the exhibition spaces, so congratulations on that as well again. And we will talk about this event, what it serves to the startups, what it serves to different stakeholders. But before that, Dr. Manish, can we first talk about the current landscape of the biotech industry in India? What are some recent breakthrough innovations that we've seen? What is the current landscape? What is the current trajectory in terms of the target that we've set?
Thank you, Lata, for having me here in the startup story. Acknowledge this. I am Dr. Manish Diwan. I lead the Startup India and Make in India for biotech sector from BIRAC. And BIRAC champions the entire biotech ecosystem where the industry comes into play for translation of knowledge that gets generated in the research institutions so that it gets translated into tangible products and technologies. So this ecosystem has really evolved in last 11 years or so. And you would notice that biotechnology being an interdisciplinary sciences, it has kind of touched various aspects of societal unmet needs. And there are three elements who are contributing to the growth of the ecosystem. One is the obvious one, the industry, which produces, manufactures, and then deploys the products. They are dependent upon the R&D so that their newer products keep on churning so that they can manufacture and then deploy. That churning of new product pipeline is essentially driven by the startup ecosystem, and that has grown in number. And BIRAC's one of the major objective is to enhance the footprint of biotech industry in the country. If you look in a larger landscape, the number of biotech industry, health tech, agri-tech, industrial biotech, biofuel, bioenergy, waste to value, these are not many, only handful. It's a very small basket of such industries in the country. So one of our major objective is to enhance that footprint and make it many-fold higher. I'll give you some examples. When we initiated in 2012, we had less than 50 biotech startups in the country. Today, we are looking at 6,500 plus biotech startups in the country. These are the startups who are essentially driven on IP-led solution. It's a knowledge-based scientific industry. So these are the solutions which are IP-led, unlike the typical uh, IT, fintech, SaaS-based services, or commerce, e-commerce. Those are also innovative, but these are you can classify or categorize in big tech uh, startups. So that has grown almost like several fold, right?
Yeah.
Uh, the infrastructure around it, the incubation centers, we are now 75 incubation centers, which offer biotech ability for uh, entrepreneur startups to perform biotech related inventions or innovations and product development. So they have increased to 75, reaching to tier 2, tier 3 cities in 22 states and UTs in the country. So that infrastructure has kind of expanded. But, as I mentioned, today we have 6,500 plus startups. We expect by 2025, we will touch a number of about close to 10,000 biotech startups. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
The, likewise, the footprint would also get increased. We get to see new innovations, as you're asking. It's CAR T cell therapy recently got manufacturing license approval. And India has become one of the 5, 6 countries across the world who can boast of such advanced cell and gene cellular therapy. We had COVID vaccines,
Right.
four of them, which emergency use approval. We had homegrown RT-PCR kits, which enabled 1.4 billion people to get tested. We have examples which are now scaling up beyond the obvious and beyond uh, catching up the common public eyes. For example, we have started replacing chemical synthetic pesticides and
Mhm.
fertilizers with biostimulants, biofertilizers, pest management that has hopped over to pheromones based biosolutions that doesn't require chemical sprays, etc. So I think these are some examples which are deeper, deep, and going to stay and impact the ecosystem for a very long time.
Talk to us about this Global Bio India 2023. What are the expectations? What direct impact do you aim to create through this event, especially for the startups, for the exhibitors post this event as well?
Hmm. So as you to begin with, it's the largest biotech startup congregation in the country.
Right.
We had first biotech startup expo done last year, where Honorable Prime Minister he came and inaugurated. That was the biggest.
Yeah.
This global Bio India is about 2.5 to 3 folds bigger than the last year's startup expo. So there's a lot in store, and we'll be very fortunate and very happy to see that the entire exhibition has been completely booked well ahead of the event. And this has about 500 plus biotech industry, biotech startups, biotech incubation centers, biotech research institutions who will be displaying and exhibiting over 2.5 days of event. So for startups, I think this is the best opportunity to let connect and let people know what they're doing. Typically, the biotech startups and the biotech community is technically fundamentally very strong in on the technical side. And they are PhDs, postdocs, scholars. Uh, so all of them are uh, like more good in reading papers, writing papers, and talking to the scientific community.
Yeah.
But the business aspect is kind of relatively less developed. Such events provide that national and international platform for showcasing as well as networking, and an awareness gets created. See, last year when Honorable Prime Minister himself came and inaugurated, that kind of uh, brought biotech sector on a pedestal where common person would also relate to. government policies and support that got highlighted, that science-based, science-led innovation has such a huge value in India also, and there would be supportive policies and frameworks that will follow. Uh, so this Global Bio India has two drivers. One is biotech innovation, and second is biomanufacturing. And both are kind of in a cogwheel kind of a scenario. Both are interlinked. So we are trying to pushing and pitching that biotech startups who are bringing the innovations and addressing the unmet needs. This is the place. So we are encouraged non-biotech oriented investors, angels, VCs, HNIs to come and see in first person and come and attend this event and get exposed to the deep tech and newer opportunities which otherwise they are less aware of. So that's one. So we have about uh, among the hundreds, 50 people, 50 startups would get an opportunity to pitch in front of an investor pool over 3 days. We will have about 29 new products launched by startups in the event. We will have close to 300 plus biotech startups who would be exhibiting. We will have women biotech founders who get felicitated, and some of them would be releasing and launching their products. We will have uh, startups who are addressing health tech uh, innovation needs for the low resource setting under the Jan Care program. So they will be launching their products and also showcasing how they have integrated with state governments and the ecosystem to deliver newer innovation and bring more people under the startup coverage. Uh, the industry would get to see firsthand this is the innovation pipeline, and they can handpick or cherry pick from this pool to adopt for merger acquisition, co-developing, in-licensing, and supporting the newer generation innovation pipeline. Government, state government, central government, um, decision makers, they will all be visiting this exhibition in 2.5 days. There would be several visits from the dignitaries, officials, policymakers, and decision makers at various levels, hospitals, public, private bodies. So without knowing people, they would be watched, they would be kind of judged, evaluated, and I think lots in store. I'm very excited to bring and from DBT BIRAC side this kind of an opportunity and this kind of scaling attempt so that India's ecosystem gets recognized at the international scale. So a lot of international footprint would also be there. About 30 plus country representation would be there. And the entire thing, just like you are covering, this will get echoed not only during the 2.5 days, I think there will be ripple effect and a cascading impact that is expected even post event.
Right. Understood. And by the way, this is happening on the same place where G20 was organized, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely, we consciously picked up that spot because G20 representatives can relate to Bharat Mandapam, and we were the first one to identify and book this place well ahead of anybody else.
Yeah, and trust me, we see the excitement on your face already. But very quickly, want to understand what are some expectations from the state government because they're also taking part in this. Post event also, what are some expectations from state government, or how? What do you suggest state government to do to support this local bio manufacturing ecosystem in their states as well?
The biomanufacturing has been recognized as one of the key drivers where it can drive or directly impact the economy of the country through the bioeconomy upsurge. So state governments have been promoted and encouraged to roll out biotech state policies. And now 22 states have biotech state policies. Now, how does it help? So it allows them a couple of things. One, to attract investments for greenfield and brownfield projects in their respective states for the biotech and biomanufacturing. Second, it also encourages them to create a pool of talent which is which can drive and support the industry pipeline, both in terms of R&D as well as the talent pool who can work in for the manufacturing in such setups. Uh, these two things, together with recognition of that they also need to create infrastructure and allocate some resources. That is how the incubation ecosystem is evolving. And in the states, you would see wherever the state government come forward, the cluster has more matured, and you get to directly see the startup footprint in such states. One more important thing that states can come forward, and for that reason, we have also kept states representation session in the global bio, is that states can pitch for not only for investment promotion to the industry, but more importantly, the innovations that are being built by the startups, states can adopt some of them. Or let's say mass cleaning, or addressing a problem for water cleaning, waste to value, uh, providing some land for biomass conversion to biofuel, those kind of elements. So we feel that this global bio India provide the orientation for state actors that what all can be done for biotech, and probably that would follow through with the actionable outcome also.
Understood. Are there any specific states, by the way, that you're expecting a lot, in terms of this, adding to this biotech industry? Are there any specific states that you have in mind, or any specific cities? Okay.
Since being a central enabler, so we are not biased, and we want the India to become the bio innovation hub.
Yeah.
But you would notice that Karnataka, Telangana, Gujarat, Maharashtra, NCR, so they are more forthcoming in terms of the
Right.
innovation.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, for example, Northeast, which is bioresource hotspot, Punjab, Haryana, which is agri-belt, Madhya Pradesh, which is agri-belt. So these, there you just need to kind of orchestrate and encourage more people to look
Yeah.
this side and
Yeah.
introduce the new innovation. So that is our intent. For example, in the east side, Orissa has picked up and prioritized this segment. So their innovation ecosystem has grown,
Understood.
in shorter amount of time. Yeah.
Understood. I love how you answered that. Last question, I would say, which is any startup in the country which is looking to be a part of this revolutionizing the biotech and the biomanufacturing industries, adding to the bioeconomics. What do you have to say to them?
I think there's an obligation for all of us to make India a developed nation, and in our uh, as a citizen of the country, we would like the quality of life, the GDP of the country, the availability of resources all increase over a period of time, rather than we looking out to the west and the outside India. We make other people to India and feel that India can be the destination as a global innovation hub, global biomanufacturing hub. Uh, we can generate solutions for India, from India, and for the world. When we can, all of us, like India's talent pool can power up the Fortune companies. All Fortune companies have a footprint and presence of Indian talent contributing to that success, but in the foreign soil. uh, I think science knows no boundary. So that knowledge and experience, I think we can also power up within India to make that happen. So India's bioeconomy, for that matter, has been improving in double digit at a compound annual growth rate. So this by 2022, we would be passing the 100 billion milestone. And we are looking forward that by 2030, we should be able to touch 300 billion USD mark. And this would be directly then contributing to national economy. Currently, it is just about over 3%. But as we move along, we should aim to that it can contribute to as high as 5%. So I think that is an obligation that we all carry. And the biotech innovation ecosystem, startup innovation ecosystem, I think has that competence and strength to 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 meet this and probably surpass this objective.
Makes sense. So idea is not just to cater to India, but to the world as well. And we've kind of proved that while the COVID-19 happened, right? Uh, Great, awesome, lovely having you, Dr. Manish, and we wish you all the best for this event. Hope some really great tangible outputs come out of it, like you expect. And we'll also be waiting for the bioeconomic report that has to come out,
Yes,
right? So
yes,
very
yes.
looking forward to that as well from you guys.